Hi, friends. My name is Kenton Whitman, and together with my family, we aim to share wilderness skills, mindfulness practices, wild edible plants, family adventures, and skills that break you free from the limits of civilized life. Join us by subscribing to our channel and joining our YouTube family. Hey, friends. Oh, well, usually we sit down like this when it's a family update.
Yeah, we always seem to go right here when it's a family update.
But this is not a family update. No,
Breaking the tradition.
we have been thinking and pondering a little bit lately on living in community. And basically, you and I have been living in community for the last, I don't know,
10.
10, 12,
10?
10
Wow.
years?
Probably 10 years.
And
yeah.
your girls for your whole life, essentially.
Mhm.
That's 10 then.
Yeah.
11, actually.
And that means, when we say community, that means lots of different kinds of situations. It doesn't necessarily mean a commune type of community,
Yeah.
but they have been varied and different. Everything from cohabiting a house with someone to just living in a house that's amongst other houses that belong to a multi-generational family. So lots of different ways of exploring community.
I think when we say community, essentially what we're saying, our definition we're using here, is that the opposite of living in a nuclear household. So our own house where we don't really know our neighbors and friends and such are far away. When we've been living in these situations, it's always close-knit. We're with people that are very dear to us and we're connected with and interacting with on a daily basis. So we thought it might be interesting to look back at the past 10 years. You don't quite have 10 years yet, do you, Liliana?
No. 8 though.
But this time that we've all spent in community, and to share each of us maybe the biggest takeaway that we've had, or the biggest lesson we've learned. It's cute.
It's the season of hat hair.
It's cute.
It's cute. Mm-hmm.
You're always cute. Well,
Lily, do you want to start?
do you want to start us off?
No.
Okay, Mirabelle, you start us off.
Okay, so one of the things that I've found kind of important about a community is having good neighbors. Because that really kind of, how do I describe this? When you have a good relationship with your neighbors, it boosts your soul and you feel all happy, like you can just go over there and talk to them and have fun. But when you don't have a very good connection with your neighbors, it's kind of like, yeah, we don't really talk. They're not very, So it's very important, I feel like, to have people in a community that are around you to be people you enjoy spending time with and that make you happy.
I think when I hear that, I think about consciously choosing your tribe.
Yeah,
And
totally.
well, this happens in marriages a lot. We see somebody that's really attractive, everything, woo, and maybe they're wealthy or something else, and we just get married spur of the moment, not realizing that this decision, who we're going to be spending our time with on a daily basis, is one of, if not the biggest indicator of how much life energy you're going to have. Because when you are surrounded by relationships that are dramatic and have a lot of intention, we probably have all experienced this. It sucks all your energy out of you and there's nothing left. As you said, Mirabelle, when you're surrounded by people that you're really compatible with, you have a boost of energy. There's all this life essence that flows into you that you can then use for goodness.
Yeah, I think the word compatibility really strikes the chord, because we can like people, we can be really good friends with someone, and we can be compatible in lots of ways. Oh, we like to hike and we like to do this and that. But if you're in community with someone and you're living close together, well, I don't know, when I was a kid, I had my best friends, but if we would spend a week together on vacation, by the end, sometimes we were not compatible to live together. So there's all different factors in the compatibility, and I definitely have found that to be true too, Mirabelle, that when I'm compatible with someone, there seems to be an easy flow, and that just makes life much less stressful and lots more enjoyable. You ready?
No, well, yes, but Dad, Mom, when you talked about how to strike the chord, it reminded me of a Wayne.
Oh, musical notes? Strike the chord.
Well, I suppose we got a piano.
That's an update.
Oh, that is an update. So these people were giving away a piano. I guess
Like,
this
maybe we
happens
could like put a little
lot.
clip of us playing it.
Yeah. So the girls have wanted a piano for a long time, and there's a piano in our house, and one of our family of patrons, I probably okay to say his name, Drew, is helping us out with learning some piano stuff,
yeah.
and it's really
So
fun.
awesome.
We have actually had a number of different people share things about singing and
What's the other one?
music, and it's just wonderful.
Yeah, someone recently made a video for you guys on singing, voice lessons, a personal video. Yeah.
Very blessed. And
Oh.
music, of course, is so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
I want to hear what Liliana has to say about what do you find about community that's
So,
good for you?
the important thing for me is friends.
Can you explain that a little?
Well, if you never have friends, this is sort of like Campbell's good neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Is because then you'll never have someone. Friends, a true friend will stay by your side for your whole life, and they will help you through hard times, and they'll just basically a good friend won't say, oh, well, now I got a job and I'm going to go away now. They're going to say, I got a really fun job that I really like, and it was the one that you got, or something like that. And then they're not going to say, oh, bye.
So someone who sticks with you.
Yeah.
And someone, I think we talked about this a little earlier, someone that you learn things from. You were mentioning one of your friends was teaching you some things, and you guys were sharing skills.
Mm-hmm. Sharing skills.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, on top of that we have, in many of our communities, lived where there aren't really other kids. And the community that we're in now, there are so many kids of so many different ages and different levels and experience with different things. Wow. And it's been really, really amazing to have a community that is multi-age.
Yeah.
Maybe we should explain our current iteration of community, which I think is the one that's been working best for us of anything we've experienced before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's odd because with our one neighbors, we live, I'm going to say, basically on top of them. Now, we're out in the country, so we have a lot of space around us. But this is a house that's kind of two houses in one.
It's basically one big house with a split down the middle, not actual, but it's one big house, and there's a breezeway inside it. And then there's a door here.
That separates our two houses. But yes, we are coming and going by each other multiple times a day.
Yeah,
and it feels great.
It's
awesome.
It's amazing. And now we've asked some other people that we really connect with and are compatible with to come into this area, and some other people have moved there. And so from that,
plus we live next door to the CSA, the organic CSA, who we love that family. And as we expand outward, we've met some of our other neighbors who have become part of this community where we gather together, we help each other out, we celebrate.
Speaking about that, the CSA and music, the daughter of the owner has a channel kind of where she plays different songs. So check it out. It's called, what is it called?
why don't I put in the description a link to it?
Yeah, totally.
And some other people could see her playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there it is. We have this, we're surrounded by all these people that we're really compatible with, that we really care about. And there is this multi-generational thing where kids, I think we have kids from from one, less than one,
Mm-hmm.
all the way up
One,
to
14?
Well, I
We
mean,
have a
if I
14-year-old.
say he's 16.
We have a 14-year-old friend.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we have representation in our pretty much immediate community of children from all of those different ages.
A 14-year-old friend and a below 1-year-old friend.
Yeah. And so you get to interact with all those people,
Yeah.
connect with them all, and that is probably also really good for all of our minds to not just interact with people that are kind of our same age, same belief set, everything else, which maybe you'll speak to here.
Well, being that there's all sorts of parents that go along with those kids, there's also a lot of really good role models that aren't just us as parents. And I feel like that's really important, at least for children growing up, but just for myself too, different people who live different ways. Did you say you want to say something?
I think we don't have a 2-year-old or 4-year-old.
Might be one missing in there.
Yeah, 2 of us.
Well, here's what I've learned lots of things from living in community. It's been a tremendous growing and learning experience for me. And so I've learned lots of things. But today, what I've been reflecting on is that whether I've been compatible or incompatible with my neighbors in those situations, I've really come to be around people. And when you're in community, you're around them a lot. I've been able to watch neighbors of mine with a situation that might be difficult for them to know what to do. And I've seen them struggle with what's the right decision in this situation. And I've seen them want to be their best selves and want to take the high road and still not necessarily know. And I see that in myself. I've seen them respond to emergencies that other people have. We're there for each other. And I've seen them, be sad about something. In a sense, I've seen their humanity, and it's just like me. And right now in the world, it feels like there are so many media sources and other things that are pointing to all of our differences. And having lived really close to all these different people over the years, all I ever come to see in the end is that we all are the same. We all just want to be happy. We want to be healthy. We want our kids to have opportunities and a future. We want to feel as though we're valuable in this world. And I've always only ever seen that. And so it really strikes me today, right now, how much I'm not alone. And if I extrapolate that out, there's my community, quote, and that's this circle. But really, we're all just earthlings on this planet. We're already a community, a planet-wide community, and we all are essentially the same underneath it all. And that just helps me to realize as I go out into the world and I encounter other people, I can say, yeah, sometimes my neighbors have a bad mood. Sometimes I have a bad mood. Sometimes they're struggling with something and I don't know until they tell me. And it's the same with me. And it's the same with a stranger you meet. So it's just been really inspiring for me to think about community close-knit, and then as it spreads out to just, hey, you're my fellow earthling.
Wow. I think that's a really important message in today's day and age. Did you have something to say
No, I
to
was
that?
just taking it off of you.
Oh, because we do. It's so easy to focus on division, but we're in a petri dish up here where we have in our immediate community, in our extended community, people that are left and right and middle, people that are different religions, different philosophies of life, all kinds of differences. But those
Close.
differences, yeah, those aren't the focus.
Yeah.
The focus is the things that connect us. And it's really not difficult to do, to just focus on the things that connect us and to respect differences. And the beautiful thing about the differences is you can hear each other, listen to each other, learn from each other, understand perspectives that allow you to look out at humanity as a whole and say, oh, people that are labeled with this may not look exactly the way my mind wants to label them, because now I know somebody that could fit into that group, but they are a person, they're a real person that I connect with, and I like them and depend on them for this, and they depend on me for this.
I want to hear about what your perspective is. What have you learned from living in a
Oh,
community?
goodness gracious.
I mean, pick one
Ah,
thing.
okay. There's a lot. I guess a big takeaway that I have failed at many times, and it's come to be much easier and something that I don't think I fail at as much now, is not to blame others. So when you're in a community situation, we've all heard that there's a lot of possibility for tension. Whenever humans are living close together, there has to be relationships there. And, even in that nuclear family, there's going to be a husband and wife. And because they live close to each other and are connected like that, their lives are interwoven, there's that potential for conflict. And it's very, very easy, I think, to just blame somebody else. When I have a feeling, an internal feeling, to blame somebody else for my feeling. And when I do that, I lose out on an opportunity for self-growth. And if I do blame, basically it's guaranteed that I'm going to put up the other person's ego defenses. And I mean, you, Mirabelle, you too, Liliana, you are some of the only people I know who somebody can say something to that would bump into your ego, and you don't usually, oh, well, you can hear it and say, oh, okay, that's a critique that somebody has. But for most of us, and certainly for myself, who was brought up being defensive, no, not brought up being defensive, not actually trying to say anything about the way my parents brought me up. But as I grew up, that was the default. I feel like that's our cultural default, is just to kind of be defensive. And so for me, learning to blame others for my feelings, and then nothing can happen. There can be no growth. And, go ahead.
Well, it just makes me think about communication, because
Yeah.
it boils down to, I think, you've really learned to communicate. And instead of the blame often has to do with a way we think of something and perceive something, especially if it's an emotional reaction. And if we don't go check in with our neighbors and friends around us, we can just live in this bubble of all these thoughts of what other people might think or feel. And when you check in, and I've noticed that you have a tendency to do that more, check in, hey, is this what's going on? We get feedback that says, oh, no, not at all. And you can start to realize, what I see the world as isn't always what is going on.
A quick break out of the topic. Look around us. So
It's such a pretty day, isn't it? There's still those green plants, and of course the rocks and the moss. And somehow the winter sky, that gray sky, with the trees.
Yeah, I'm looking up right now.
that's what
The
I'm
leafless trees.
looking
Is that what you're
at
looking
this
at?
whole time.
It's stunning, isn't it? Just,
It's bright too. Whew.
Yeah, I think of our friend and community member now, Brett, who has put that into words really well. If there's something that this kind of goes for all of us, something that we're feeling inside that we think that person is this or that, we're seeing something bad in somebody else, it's usually a sign that if we stop and look really carefully, we're harboring that inside of ourselves somewhere. And I've found that that's pretty true. And it's beautiful because you start to stop blaming other people. And then again, you can, do some self-growth.
You can get curious and learn more.
You're going to have to talk about this in Satori. Part of this Satori. You can't blame people in Satori.
So what she's talking about is, I told you a couple of videos back about that book that we're writing in the other YouTube channel for gamers. But I've been reading the book to them, and they are incredible editors. So I read it open, so they read it at the same time, catch typos, conceptual things that maybe aren't clear. And yeah, absolutely, Liliana. You're right on with that.
You're not going to get through to Satori. You just need to go back to the first layer.
Back to the first layer.
I think we would all really enjoy hearing from you anything that you've learned about living in community, and you might not be in a community situation that's similar to ours, but I am guessing that you have some community that you're involved with, whether it's friends or family or coworkers, a neighborhood that you do live in. Tell us what you've learned, how it has shaped you. Wouldn't you like to hear about that?
Yeah.
Other people's
Yeah,
experiences?
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're very grateful for you. You are a community of ours as well.
A wonderful one.
Yeah, and we love connecting with you. We love hearing from you. And it's been a joy all these years to learn and grow alongside with you.
Yeah.
So,
You could
thank
also
you.
have had that your not your whole life, but yours. This community
Yeah.
of our YouTube family
That's
who
awesome.
also share with us all the time. And that is pretty cool because that's people from around the world and people with all kinds of different ideas. And boy,
Oh, we love you guys so much.
Yeah.
Hugs and kisses and I run.
talk with you in the comments.